Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 19 of the Vanarama YouTube channel's Football Manager 2018 experiment with Celtic and Rangers in England. Obviously starting life off in the Vanarama, and they find themselves in the Championship as we were about to start our 10th season. So, what can we really say about these two teams? What do you guys think? Do you think they both should be in the Premier League by now? Do you think Rangers have done well to be this high and maintain it? Do you think Celtic shouldn't really be in the Premier League? They have had a stint in there and fell back down. They are fighting to get themselves back. So, let's have a little recap on where they finished in the last couple of seasons. Just remind ourselves as we're about to start our 10th season where we are with it. So, on here, domestic leagues. So, Celtic obviously finished third in the Championship and missed out on the playoffs, but before that finished 12th. 2 seasons in the Premier League where they finished in the bottom 5. Unfortunately relegated in 2024. And before that, then it took them 2 seasons in the Championship to get themselves in the Premier League, making the Championship at the first, in the earliest possible time they could do. So that's Celtic. Rangers. Domestic leagues, right? So Rangers obviously did the same as Celtic, made it into the Championship at the first time of asking, and in their first season finished 5th and made the playoffs, but didn't get through to the Premier League. And since then it's been a bit of a downhill sort of rocky road. They got relegated the season afterwards and had to do 2 more seasons in League One before winning the League One league with a massive 100 points, and then obviously 2 seasons in the Championship where they've made some steady progress and finished in the top 10 last time around. So I'd say you'd fancy both of them to do well this year. They both got the money behind them and the support behind them, so why not? So let's go to Celtic again. Let's have a look what early business they've done to see if they brought anybody in at this point. So far they brought Michael Murray in from Nottingham Forest and sold Victor Jensen. Declan Jordan moved on a free anyway. So Michael Murray, a striker, a decent looking striker at that as well. He's only 21 as well, so maybe a future Premier League striker. They paid 8 million for him. They're going to want to get something out of him. So Rangers, any early business done for them? So they signed James Cresswell from Liverpool for free, some Tony Heron on a free from Glenavon, and then obviously Man United have loaned them Chris Dickens. Chris Dickens is a centre back, possibly a bit part player for the season. Tony Heron is a centre back worth not a lot, 18 years of age, Northern Irish obviously, from Glenavon. James Cresswell is actually a really decent looking centre back now. So maybe, just maybe, they've got the back line sorted out. So let's have another quick recap of the players that these guys have got. Obviously, don't selection info, let's have a look at general info. So Bailey, Peacock, Farrell, maybe a better goalkeeper could be on the horizon for them. Pardon me. So let's just do it this way, because they've got a very pricey looking team, dominated mainly around good defenders. So there's me going on about their back line. It's not the back line, maybe it's the front line they need, because if you look at it, Bjorn Good Johnson is pretty much the only major striker. And then other than that, they don't have an awful lot up front. So up front is exactly all. Jacob Aniewu is their striker as well. So they got some attacking midfielders, maybe a few more defensive midfielders, or orthodox box-to-box type midfielders. Flynn Downs, I don't know whether he is a centre-back or he is midfield. Maybe some wingers. Wingers could be the one that they're looking for, maybe. Unless Taylor Richards is playing on the wing. No, he's playing attacking midfield. So maybe some wingers for Rangers. Celtic. So see, their team's a hell of a lot more pricey. They've got their goalkeeper. They've got some wingers, you can see in amongst that. They've got some strikers. They've got some defenders. Maybe some proper centre midfielders. I know they got Edvard Tagseth. Yeah, you can look at some centre midfielders in their first team wouldn't go amiss. They've got some full-backs. And they've got some strikers. If I remember right, he's a good striker. Tarek Al-Sayed. Not a good finisher, but he still scored some goals for them. And then Jared Bowen, the Welshman. He's a winger. So they're paying an awful lot of wages to some of these players. Michael Murray could be the one that's going to make a bit of a difference for them this year. But there we go. How about we get the season underway, have a look at what final business they do, and then basically see how they get on up until the end of November. But for the start, let's get the transfer window over with and the start of the season underway. I'll see you guys there. Okay then, guys, it is the 2nd of September. The transfer window is over and Celtic and Rangers have started appallingly. Really bad. Well, Celtic have only lost 1 of their 5 against Wolves at home, but they've drawn 3 and won only 1, and they beat Rangers. early season Old Firm derby there, and Rangers have started bad. They've lost 3 and 5. They've drawn against Swansea and they've won away to Wickham. Wickham are in the Championship. Wow, good for them. The thing I've always liked about this game is that you always get surprise teams that tend to come, that can fly up the league. Not like FIFA, there's always the same teams, same kind of teams going up and down from all the divisions. You never see progress unless you take control of the team yourself. But with this one, anything can happen. So, start with Celtic. So they didn't bring many more players in. Martin Tatton from West Ham is a centre back. So you got Finlay Harper on loan from Liverpool, worth a bit of money, so must be something about him. Ryan Powell on loan from Chelsea, and he's worth a lot of money, so there definitely has to be something about him. Stephen Travis then, a left winger on loan from Manchester City. They brought in this guy from Crewe. He's a centre back, 16 years old, so he's not going to be figuring now. One for the future maybe. And outgoings, this guy who we did look at has gone to Leeds. Other than that, there's nothing big here. No other players who've been let go of a big nature. So they've made 26 million in this transfer window and strengthened quite well. So they're up money, and they should be doing a lot better, as you know. Rangers have done this. What they brought in, transfer history, right? So they spent a bit of money. They brought in Grant Campbell from Wolves. So it says fullback. Owen Nugent is a left back. So they've strengthened at fullback. So Neil Tinkler on loan, Kyle Alessandro on loan. With Kyle Alessandro at centre midfield. I think we said wingers could have done them some good. So they strengthen the centre of the midfield, but it depends what sort of tactics they're playing. Tyrese John Jules is a striker. And who's this guy? Adel Daragi is a 22-year-old Tunisian. So like 52 caps at 22 years old. There must be something about him then, to be capped so many times at such a young age. So 4.7 million they say he's worth. But Rangers, they've strengthened. They've made millions. They've sold Sam Field. Lewis Gibson's gone to Burnley. Kean Harries has gone to PAOK. Okay. Ed Francis away to Aston Villa. A couple of loans. Danny Devine away to Fulham. And then Just Van Aken has gone over to, I'm sure they're Turkish. 32-year-olds. So I think on a selling front, they've done quite well for themselves because they have strength that they have brought in to replace where they've lost players. So they're up 20 odd million. So January is a time where they're going to really need to spend unless they can turn things around. So the current manager is Paul Clement still, and the Celtics manager, just as a recap, is Glenn Johnson. Remembers that 40k? He's barely even a manager. It's mental. Recruitment policy on this game is bloody crazy. But there we go. That's basically what they've done in the summer. They've started badly, very, very badly, both of them. Now they've got to turn this around. Rangers can't go down again. Otherwise, they're just going to prove my prediction of being bottom end Championship, top end League One. Celtic pretty much already proved what I've said: bottom end Premier League, top end Championship, which is what they have been. But we'll see. I hope both of them make it in the Premier League one day. So let's push on and see if they can do that this season by turning things around very quickly. Now, I'll see you guys on the 30th of November. Okay then, 30th of November, we're going to bring this episode to a close shortly, but look, much, much better from Celtic. They've gone on to only lose one more game since losing to Wolves, but now they've overtaken them. They've drawn 7 games and they've won 10. Won 10 out of 19, which is a decent return for a team pushing for promotion. Rangers have turned it around somewhat and they're in 10th now. So they've lost 8 games. That's the only problem. They're still losing too many games. I don't know what to suggest on them because the wins, they're only winning by the odd goal. They've only won by more than 1 goal twice out of their 8 wins. They've drawn 3 and they've lost, let's see, 8. And they've lost by more than 1 goal on 2 occasions. So they're not losing. They seem to be in these games. They're just failing to provide that bit of cutting edge. Maybe they need to bring in 1 or 2 players that's going to maybe stop the goals from going in. And then obviously make sure the goals go in at the other end. Easy and simplistic way of putting it. But it's something that they got to do if they do hope to make the Premier League one day. Celtic looking like they're going to go ahead and do that anyway. So, guys, let's have a quick look at the player stats before we call time on this episode. Player stats are... So the top scorer is Tarek Al-Said, the one with only the 9 finishing, and somehow he's the top scorer in the league with 10 goals. Nothing from a Rangers point of view on this one. Average rating... Oh. How do we change it on there? Ah, right, okay, average rating, where is it? It's not saying it here. But you can see that. I bet we just go on, yeah. This is where we usually go. For average rating, Jordan Graham of Rotherham is the best player in the league at the moment. Celtic have only really got someone coming in at 11th, but then Tarek Al-Said is coming in at joint 15th. No Rangers players. So you see, no individuals. On the goals, there's no Rangers players on there either. And then we'll... What else? Assists. Let's have a look at assists. Do Rangers have anybody on there? Celtic don't. Rangers do. Flynn Downs is the one bright spark for Rangers at the moment. Celtic don't have anyone on the assists. So maybe there's a lot of players at Celtic that are chipping in to get Tarek Al-Said his goals to assist him, or maybe he's creating them himself. We don't know. But all I know is Rangers are... I'd say a striker and a centre-back. Looking at this, 1 striker, 1 centre-back could be enough. We'll go big time on that as well. Anyway, guys, that is that. Celtic are top of the league at the end of this episode. Will they see it through this time? We've seen them in these kind of positions before, and they've fallen off. Rangers are in 10th. They always seem to do better in the second half of the season, so will that mean they may finish in the playoff place at least? Or possibly, as they're only 9 points behind, with an awful lot of games left to play in the season, does that mean that they will potentially finish second? We'll see. Depends on what business they do in the transfer window, and you'll find that out in the next episode. So guys, thanks for watching. Keep the comments coming in, keep the likes coming in on the videos, and keep sharing this about. I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who would like to see this. Thanks again. Until next time, cheerio for now.